Podcasting to the universe.
From the top of Mount Wack.
Live with no pants.
Here's Zach DeWack.
Greetings, red-blooded, verified Earth people, and those with no check mark. It is me, the always dapper podcast babbler, the joy boy with the joy toy, your daddy-o from the radio, and the monkey on the mic. It's me, Zachary Ernesto Wackalina III, here at your service. And good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to the one and only No Baloney Extra Large and Turbocharged DeWack in the Morning Show, live from the low-rent, sleazy, double greasy, ramen, jammin', nitro slamming Nut Hut Studios at the DeWack Shack Podcasting Complex at Peachtree Industrial. Today is Friday, November 15th, 2024. Here's that birthday list. Shailene Woodley from The Descendants and The Fault in Our Stars is 33 today.
You're only young once. You should be having a little fun.
Rapper B.O.B. turns 36.
I got the magic in me. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold.
Winston Duke from Marvel Films is 38.
In like the movie world, everything is a meltdown until it's not a meltdown.
Makeup artist Jeffree Star turns 39. Sean Murray, he's Timothy McGee on NCIS, he's 47. Chad Kroeger, you know him from Nickelback, he's 50.
I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling, and this is how you remind me.
Johnny Lee Miller from Elementary and Eli Stone is 52.
I think he likes to think that he's, successful in his sphere, which is, sort of, wheeler dealing.
Jay Harrington, who played the role of Ted Margaret Crisp on the TV series Better Off Ted. In 2017, he began playing Sergeant David Deacon K in the TV series SWAT. He's 53.
Since we're marketing this for the military, we have given this project our top-level security clearance. Currently, we're the only people who know about it.
Shoe designer Jimmy Choo is 72. Jimmy Choo Shoes. Beverly D'Angelo from National Lampoon's Vacation is 73.
She's not fine, Clark. She's dead.
And turning 84 years young today, it's Sam Waterston. You know him from Law and Order.
He's bringing up facts not adduced at trial. Your Honor made rulings. The people relied on them. I want his summation stricken from the record. Your Honor, you're leaving us with no remedy. If you won't uphold your own rulings.
A happy birthday to all. Gone but not forgotten, actor Ed Asner. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 91. Kim Porter, former model and longtime partner of Sean Diddy Combs, who was also a member of a girl group called Girl 6, passed away on this day in 2018 at the age of 53. Lionel Barrymore, a wonderful patriarch of the Barrymore acting family, who was one of Hollywood's leading men. His final film was 1953's Seven Angry Men. Steel Magnolias released this day in 1989.
Are you married or not? These are not difficult questions.
Cape Fear also released this day in 1991.
I can outlearn you. I can outread you. I can outthink you, and I can out-philosophize you, and I'm gonna outlast you. You think a couple of whacks to my good old boy gut's gonna get me down? It's gonna take a hell of a lot more than that, counselor, to prove you're better than me.
The movie Space Jam, starring Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny, released this day in 1996.
Stop the music! Top Gun coming through! It's getting so a guy can't even get himself wet around here. So, what's the big emergency? These little guys would like to make an announcement. Here you go, shorty.
The soundtrack sells over 6 million copies, thanks mainly to the opening song, I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. Other contributors to this soundtrack include Seal, Monica, and Coolio. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets released this day in 2002.
Harry Potter? Such an honor it is.
Who are you?
Dobby, sir. Dobby the house elf.
Not to be rude or anything, but this isn't a great time for me to have a house elf in my bedroom.
Good Behavior premiered in 2016. A version of Charlie's Angels released in 2019.
I think women can do anything.
Well, I mean, just because they can doesn't mean they should, right? Think about women fixing cars, driving a taxi, installing some drywall.
Why not?
No. Look, trust me, a girl like you don't really want this.
A girl like me? I mean, I want all my options available so I can decide for myself.
Miss Independent.
And Ford versus Ferrari released this day in 2019 as well. Here's a little music history for this day, November 15th. In 2022, the presale for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour crashes Ticketmaster, leading to frustrated fans and a federal investigation. Despite the snafu, 2.4 million tickets are sold, the most for one artist ever in a single day. In 2018, thanks to the hashtag Justice for Glitter, Mariah Carey's Long Maligned 2001 album Glitter climbs to number 1 on the iTunes US Albums chart. In 2005, Alabama, Glenn Campbell, and DeFord Bailey are inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Also, in 2005, American Idol winner Carrie Underwood releases her debut album, Some Hearts, featuring the hits Jesus Takes the Wheel and Before He Cheats, it becomes the best-selling album of the year. In 2004, Shania Twain's album Come On Over is certified double diamond by the RIAA with over 20 million copies sold in the US. It's just the 7th album to do so and the only one by a female artist. In 2000, Michael Abram, the Liverpool native who broke into George Harrison's home and stabbed him in an incident earlier in the year, is found not guilty by reason of insanity at Oxford Crown Court. Abram is to be confined to a mental hospital for an indefinite period of time. In 1999, People magazine declares Tim McGraw the sexiest man in country music. McGraw says as long as his wife, Faith Hill, thinks he's sexy, that's all that matters to him. And Kenny Chesney thinks his tractor's sexy.
Oh, yeah.
In 1993, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, and Ryan Gosling joined J.C. Chazé and Kerry Russell in the cast of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club. In 1992, at the Pacific Amphitheater in Costa Mesa, California, Ozzy Osbourne plays the final date of his No More Tours tour, which he says will be his last. His former band, Black Sabbath, opens the show in tribute with Rob Halford on lead vocals, since Ronnie James Dio wants no part of it. Also, in 1992, the Rock of Ages episode of Married with Children features guest stars Robbie Krieger of The Doors, Mark Lindsay from Paul Revere and the Raiders, Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits, Spencer Davis, Richie Havens, and John Sebastian. Along with Al Bundy, who plays the Sandwich, they form Old Aid and perform We Are the Old. And here it is.
We are the old. We've got arthritis. Our gums are weak. So weak. From gingivitis.
We are the old. We've got arthritis.
We are the ones who wear bifocals and have bursitis. There are people younger, but we heed another call.
We really need the money. Our accountants took it all.
We sing to you, those who have money. Once we was cool,
but now we just dress funny. We need your help, so please, please dig deep. Don't call after 10, 'cause we'll be asleep.
We have Medicare and anti-gas pills,
but without your help, we can't pay our
big one.
For our December, there's one more verse, but we can't remember.
In 1991, producer Jacques Morali, who created The Village People, dies of AIDS at the age of 44. In 1986, Lou Reed and Sam Moore performed their updated version of Soul Man on Saturday Night Live. The song is being featured in the movie by the same name. In 1980, Lady, written by Lionel Richie, becomes a #1 Hot 100 hit for Kenny Rogers. It stays there at the top for 6 weeks.
Lady, I'm your knight in shining armor, and I love you.
In 1972, Harry Chapin's son Josh is born, which gives him a new appreciation for the poem his wife Sandy wrote about her ex-husband called Cats in the Cradle.
And the cats in the cradle and the silver little boy blue and the man.
Harry puts music to the poem and it becomes his biggest hit. In 1969, Janis Joplin calls out a policeman at her concert in Tampa, Florida, when he uses a bullhorn to yell at the audience members who have left their seats. "Don't fuck with those people," she screams. "What are you so uptight about? Did you buy a $5 ticket?" The cop tells Joplin that she needs to tell the crowd to remain seated, and she replies, "I'm not telling them shit." After more stage ranting where Joplin threatens to kick his face in, she is arrested after the show, charged with using vulgar and indecent language. After posting a $504 bail, the charges are later dropped and she pays a $200 fine. In 1966, Jefferson Airplane records Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love?
And in 1956, Elvis Presley's first movie, Love Me Tender, premieres at the Paramount Theater in New York City. The film is a Civil War drama that was going to be called The Reno Brothers, but when Elvis became a major star during the shoot, it was retitled with Elvis given top billing.
It happened on this day as if you cared.
All right, and here's this day in history. In 1492, in history's first written reference to a new discovery, Christopher Columbus made notes in his journal about the use by New World Indians of tobacco. In 1969, Dave Thomas opened the first Wendy's fast food restaurant in Columbus, Ohio.
Where's the beef?
In 1990, producers acknowledged that Milli Vanilli, who won the 1990 Best New Artist Grammy Award, did not sing on their album. In 1992, Richard Petty drove in the final auto race of his 35-year career. In 2003, mourners of a funeral chapel in Belgium were gathered around the coffin of their loved one when a cell phone started ringing inside the casket. Relatives filed a complaint against the undertaker, charging that he could not have prepared their relative's body properly if he left a phone inside his pocket. In 2013, the new #1 activity on the internet became social media, overtaking porn.
No way!
In 2015, Holly Holm defeated UFC champion Ronda Rousey in an upset in Melbourne, Australia. In 2017, country singer Blake Shelton controversially wins People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive award. In 2019, Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, becomes the first R-rated film to earn $1 billion worldwide. In 2020, Donald Trump tweeted that Joe Biden won because the election was rigged, while still refusing to concede the election. In 2022, Earth's population hit 8 billion. And in 2023, Snoop Dogg announces he's giving up the smoke.
You're kidding!
Special events for today. It's International Stand Up to Bullying Day. It's America Recycles Day. It's American Enterprise Day. It's Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day, I Love to Write Day, Little Red Wagging Day, Bunt Day, World Vasectomy Day, Philanthropy Day, Raisin Bran Cereal Day, Spicy Hermit Cookie Day, Pack Your Mom's Lunch Day, Steve Irwin Day, National Ample Time Day, and it's National Drummer Day. And today's number for the day is 50. That's the number of Americans killed each year by wasps and bees. Let's take a look at the news. According to a survey, nearly 90% of Americans report losing sleep at night because of binge watching, which is why so many of us say Stranger Things in the morning and we look like The Walking Dead. A study finds that millions of Americans won't be able to afford a vacation this winter. The good news is that it has meant a huge boost in the sales of the makers of long underwear. Newly released figures show that, except for the first couple of years of COVID, violent crime in the U.S. is at its lowest in decades. On his Twitter account, Elon Musk is having trouble figuring out who to give credit to.
Right? I mean, seriously, what's wrong with you?
A study found that house cats are genetically much closer to wild cats than we thought, despite years of attempted domestication. Wait, are we talking about the house cats or husbands? A report found that the happiest U.S. states are the ones that have people who are the most tolerant, while the saddest states have NFL teams that are 2-7. Researchers say that hormones released during pregnancy and right after birth might create long-lasting changes in the female brain. One of the changes may be a better sense of long-term memory. So now, in addition to gaining weight, feeling tired, and getting sick, women will be able to remember it longer. A study found that the Nile River is much older than we thought, around 30 million years old, but it doesn't look a day over 21. Evidence suggests that chocolate can reduce stress. Yeah, especially if you mix a little of it in with your lunch hour whiskey. Elon Musk claims his SpaceX company will soon be rocketing 1,000 passengers at a time from London to New York in 30 minutes, but your luggage will still take 8 hours to arrive.
You can't handle the truth.
A report found that up to a quarter of emergency room waits are an hour or more, and that's just to find a parking space. I can hardly wait for Thanksgiving. You know, this sacred day when Americans gather around the table with friends and discuss everything they've posted on Facebook since their family 4th of July picnic.
Haven't you heard a word I've said?
A study found that Friday is the most popular day for bank robberies, and Monday is the most popular day to release weird statistics. A study concludes that running only a few minutes a day can add up to 3 years to your life. Of course, you'll spend most of that time nursing your hamstrings. And a study found that people who walk fast outlive other people. That's because the rest of us drop dead from exertion trying to keep up with them.
Oh, yeah, man.
Harriet Tubman, the revered abolitionist known for her work with the Underground Railroad, was posthumously promoted to the rank of general on Veterans Day. The ceremony took place at the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad State Park in Maryland, where Tubman was honored with the title of one-star brigadier general in the state's National Guard. Tubman's legacy of bravery and service was celebrated as Governor Wes Moore praised her contributions to American history. Tubman's escape from slavery and subsequent efforts to lead others to freedom exemplified her dedication to the fight for equality and justice. As a scout, spy, and nurse for the Union Army during the Civil War, Tubman's actions were pivotal in guiding black soldiers to safety and aiding in military operations. With iOS 18.2, Apple will now allow you to share the location of a lost AirTag with other people and with more than 15 different airlines. When using the feature, you can generate a share item location link with the Find My app on iPhone, iPad, or Mac. Once you share the link with someone, they can click on it to view the interactive map with the location of your lost item. Apple will update the website automatically when the lost item moves, and it will also display a timestamp of when it moved last. Apple will then turn off the feature once you find your lost item. You can also manually stop sharing the location of an AirTag at any time, or the link will automatically expire after 7 days. As part of the rollout, Apple is partnering with over 15 airlines, including Delta, United, Virgin Atlantic, Lufthansa, Air Canada, and more. All of these airlines will be able to privately and securely accept links to lost items. A study tells us more about facial expressions than ever before. While the human face can combine different muscles in different ways to express itself in 16,304 unique ways, they can all be grouped into one of 35 variations of emotions.
Oh, wow.
Roughly half of these, 17 to be exact, are expressions of happiness. Humans are able to correctly determine other people's emotions about 75% of the time by observing blood flow changes around the nose, eyebrows, cheeks, and chin.
It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
Your man's clothes can be the perfect thing to wear when you are in need of some comfort. And there's some science behind the idea. Researchers at the University of British Columbia say that wearing something with your partner's scent on it reduces stress, loneliness, and anxiety. The study involved 96 women who were randomly assigned to smell one of 3 scents: their romantic partners, a stranger's, or a neutral scent. The partners were asked to wear a t-shirt for 24 hours and then it was frozen to retain the smell. The scientists then measured stress and cortisol levels throughout tests such as a mock interview. They found the group who were given their partner's scent had lower stress levels, but those who smelled the t-shirts worn by a stranger were significantly more stressed. A 12-year-old boy from Massachusetts lost his eyesight due to a junk food diet that lacked essential nutrients. Suffering from autism and an extreme food texture phobia, the boy mostly consumed burgers, fries, ranch dressing, donuts, and sugary juice. Despite experiencing vision problems, he could see fairly during the day until one night when he woke up, he was unable to see. Hospital tests revealed severe optic nerve atrophy due to a lack of vital nutrients. Despite efforts to supplement his diet with vitamins and behavioral therapy, the boy's vision loss is irreversible. Doctors at the Boston Children's Hospital said that the boy has an avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, an eating disorder that affects about half of autistic children to different degrees. This was an extreme case, but definitely not singular. Similar cases have been reported before in the UK and in the US. Well, an Illinois woman who experienced the shock of a lifetime when she discovered her forgotten lottery ticket in her purse was actually a $1 million winner. Ka-ching! Weeks passed before the woman remembered to check the ticket and was astounded to see that the prize amount flash on her lottery app screen. The iconic Batmobile has a rich history, evolving from a high-powered auto in a 1939 comic to the beast-like tumbler featured in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Now Warner Brothers is offering Batman enthusiasts a chance to win their very own tumbler-style Batmobile. Earlier this year, the studio launched what was dubbed the Wayne Enterprises Experience to give fans with some disposable income the chance to channel their inner Batman. With a 6.2-liter, 525-horsepower engine and a weight of 5,511 pounds, these limited edition run Batmobiles would be a collector's dream. While the gun turrets and jet engine are just for show, drivers can still enjoy a smokescreen delivery system for added flair. To secure one of these exclusive vehicles, potential buyers must go through an application process and have access to a private facility to drive it, as the Batmobile lacks necessary safety features to be street legal. Their price per Batmobile is about $3 million.
Holy semantics, Batman.
4 versions of the tumbler were constructed for the first movie in the trilogy and cost $250,000 apiece to build. Well, billionaires are creepy. Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, has partnered with a fertility clinic in Russia to offer free IVF treatments to women who want to get pregnant using his sperm. The offer is only available to women under 37 in good health and will cover the costs for a limited number of women. Women interested in the opportunity will first need to be evaluated by a reproductive specialist. Durov, who's 40, has been a sperm donor for over a decade and has allegedly fathered over 100 children.
It sort of leaves you physically sick.
A recent study highlights the importance of expressing gratitude within families. Published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, the research shows that feeling appreciated by family members significantly enhances mental health and relationship satisfaction. The study analyzed data from 593 parents, finding that gratitude from romantic partners primarily improves relationship dynamics, while appreciation from children alleviates parenting stress. Notably, gratitude from teenagers is particularly beneficial for parents' mental well-being. The study also identified a gender gap, with women feeling less appreciated than men despite often expressing more gratitude. My Little Pony, Transformers, and Phase 10 card game were inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame on Tuesday. For My Little Pony, the victory was especially sweet after being a finalist 7 times previously. Hasbro's mini horses, introduced in the 1980s and reintroduced in 2003, were recognized for encouraging fantasy play and storytelling at a time outselling even Barbie. They were selected from 12 finalists through expert panel and public voting. And Transformers, which emerged when Hasbro acquired Japanese toy lines in the 1980s, were praised for feeding children's imaginations. The toy line has expanded into cartoons and live-action films, with new characters consistently attracting collectors. According to a study, teens struggling to keep up academically can considerably improve their grades by cutting back time spent on social media. Researchers from the University of Technology, Sydney, said that high-achieving students don't seem to be negatively impacted by the amount of time they spend on social media, but students with lower grades can significantly benefit from logging off. The research team examined the amount of time a group of more than 500 freshman college students were spending on social media and how that time allocation influenced their grades. On average, the students in the study were spending about 2 hours on social media every day, but some reported using social media for over 8 hours a day. Researchers found when social media use went from 2 to 3 hours a day, the difference in exam scores was 10% lower. The average adult will reach a boiling point 156 times a year and needs 35 minutes to calm down each time. 1 in 4 even want to scream and pull their hair out when they see red. Do you stay awake at night because you feel if you go to sleep you lose out on free time? This is revenge bedtime procrastination, a psychological phenomenon where individuals delay sleep to reclaim personal time, often at the expense of their health. This behavior typically occurs when people feel they lack control over their daytime schedules, leading them to sacrifice rest for leisure activities like watching TV or scrolling on social media. Despite knowing that staying up late will result in negative consequences such as sleep deprivation and decreased well-being, individuals continue the habit to regain a sense of autonomy. Peanut, the squirrel who made headlines after his unfortunate demise, has tested negative for rabies. Shockingly, it has been revealed that Peanut and Fred the raccoon were slated for euthanasia days before being seized in a raid, leaving their owner, Mark Longo, outraged. Mark expressed his frustration, sharing that authorities never informed him about the decision to euthanize his beloved pets, as news surfaced that the animals were already approved for euthanasia a week prior to the raid, contradicting claims of Peanut biting an agent necessitating a rabies test. Mark is demanding answers. While a SpaceX Starlink satellite, likely Starlink 4682, disintegrated in the atmosphere, creating a dazzling fireball visible across Colorado, Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma over last weekend, the American Meteor Society received 36 reports about the phenomenon, primarily from the Oklahoma City and Dallas-Fort Worth areas. As of November 12th, SpaceX has launched just under 7,300 Starlink satellites into orbit. Of these, 6,494 satellites remain in orbit, with 6,441 currently operational. All right, time for the wacky side of news. Shoppers at a store in the UK were mobbing an ATM that was dispensing 20s instead of 10s this week. Apparently, the machine succumbed to human error when someone loaded the 10 slot with 20s. Shoppers were hitting the jackpot over a 5-hour period until the machine ran out of bills. A man in China was detained for stealing urns from cemeteries and holding them for ransom. The man was accused of stealing 30 urns and getting families to pay a total of $81,000. Doctors in Peru removed 1.5 pounds of metal from a man's stomach, including nails, coins, and rusted copper wire and scrap metal. Doctors said when they began the operation, they were thinking it could be appendicitis. The 26-year-old construction worker ate the metal for months. A police officer in Italy stopped a vehicle for speeding at 1:50 in the morning, but by the time he got up to the vehicle to talk to the driver's seat was empty. The only occupant of the car was sitting in the back seat, and he insisted he had not been driving. Since no one had left the vehicles, officers arrested that man. A 12-year-old in China went on the run after getting in trouble for not doing his homework. He spent a week walking the streets and living off free food samples handed out by supermarkets. It's unclear where he slept at night, but some reports speculate that he slept at night in an IKEA store on one of the furniture retailer's showroom beds. The boy was finally found after a week at a railway station. A bright pink iPhone stuck under 2 inches of ice at a skating rink in Milton Keyes, England, has become a tourist attraction. Reportedly, a worker setting up the rink forgot his daughter's iPhone in the middle of the ice before it froze overnight. The phone was discovered by his coworkers the next day and remained stuck in the ice. A manager at the rink said that removing the iPhone would damage the ice, making it impossible to retrieve. Surprisingly, iPhones have shown resilience in harsh conditions before, like the case of an iPhone 11 recovered after a year from the bottom of a lake and still functional. The worker has promised his daughter a replacement phone if necessary. The Hernando County, Florida Sheriff's Office pulled over a car for a routine traffic stop. When deputies approached the car, they noticed a rolled cigar containing a green leafy substance they identified as marijuana. There were other items in plain view that suggested other drugs. They pulled out the driver and a passenger while they searched the car more thoroughly, finding other alleged drugs and paraphernalia. Deputies say when they turned around to arrest the driver, he took off running, but was immediately apprehended by a utility pole, which he slammed into. The driver and his passenger were then arrested. Rome, Italy's Trevi Fountain has been drained while it undergoes renovations. But there's a story from the movies that says if you turn your back to it and toss 3 coins in, you'll marry an appealing Italian. That, officials say, is why a pool was erected in front of the fountain during the construction, so that coins wouldn't hit people who were trying to work on the fountain. Also, this way money, it normally amounts to $1.6 million a year, can still be tossed and collected for a local charity. Officials are warning of illegal online pharmacies selling counterfeit pills made with fentanyl and meth. A safety alert has been issued about the increase. Americans are outraged and are also adamant about getting the actual addresses to these pharmacies so that they can totally avoid them. Well, this week in 1789, Benjamin Franklin wrote a letter to a friend in which he famously stated, "In this world nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." And another season of Dancing with the Stars. And this week, in 2006, Microsoft released its Zune media player to compete with Apple's iPod. It was Microsoft's first successful venture with selling the world's most expensive paperweight. And this week, in 2004, rapper ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, collapsed and died in a New York recording studio. He was 35 years old. It was later determined that he died of an overdose of cocaine and prescription painkillers. Apparently, Old Druggy Bastard might have been more appropriate. Researchers say people who live near bars drink more. The study also found people who live near Kamala Harris are about to get a new neighbor. According to a poll, the number one fantasy for women is having sex with a stranger. What about just someone who is strange? Asking for a friend. Kendall Jenner turned 29 last week. Come on, her dad has bras that are older than her. Canadian singer Bryan Adams is now 65. These days, Run to You was followed by a 2-hour nap. Kris Jenner turned 69 last week. It's not too late for a gift either. She's registered at Bed Bath & Botox. The director of the first season of the TV show Squid Game says he lost 9 teeth filming. That must really suck. According to the latest poll, 93% of people polled are sick and tired of hearing about the latest polls. This past week, there were hundreds of possible tornadoes across America. Possible tornadoes are the second worst type of tornado. Georgetown University is providing students with crayons and Legos for election grief counseling. Back in the day at my college, the only time we had a campus grief counseling was when the student store ran out of cores. The IRS says condoms are now tax deductible if you itemize, and I thought keeping receipts in a box was messy. There's a sex strike called by liberal women over the election results. If successful, married men will notice absolutely no difference whatsoever. Got to skip the horrible scopes for today, as in we had a technical malfunction over here, and by technical malfunction, I mean I forgot to hit record. And that about does it for your Friday show. You've been listening to the Always First, Never Last podcast with me, your doomsday host, Mr. Zach Wagalina. Be sure to connect with me at ZachDeWack.com. That's ZACKDAWACK.com. Or call 984-DeWack1. That's 984-329-2251. Like, subscribe, and please share this show with your friends, with all 600 of them. To those of you that are still here, thank you for listening. I'm out of here like Vladimir. Until next time, and there will be a next time. Don't forget me, I won't forget you. I'm Zach the Wack, saying if I'm lying, I'm dying. Grits ain't groceries, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. I'll be back Monday, hopefully. There's no guarantees in life unless it's death and taxes. Talk to you then. Same whack time, same whack channel. Whack out.